What's that saying about March coming in like a lamb and then going out like a lion? That seems to be where we're at with IPOs. A little slow right now, but looking to pick up soon. You'll see what I mean in a second. Welcome to IPO This Week for the week of March 1st, 2021. It's great to see everyone back. I got busy last week outside of the channel, which pushed back a couple of videos that I would have made, but didn't get to. But all's fine. I'm back and I'm looking forward to making some more videos as we got a lot coming up in the next couple of weeks. Oh, and I guess I should say, for anyone new here, my name is Kevin. And on this show, we take a look at all the new IPOs coming out for the week and any other big news on companies going public. Today I have two new companies to tell you about that are looking to come out this week, and then also give you the latest on CCIV, Coinbase, and Roblox, all who had a lot of news last week, and then I'll also give you the latest on Coupang and UiPath. But let's start with InnovAge Holding, who plans to raise $300 million at a $2.4 billion market cap. The company directly manages and are responsible for all healthcare needs and associated costs for their participants who are over 55 and eligible under Medicare and Medicaid. And to do this, they use interdisciplinary care teams that can manage their medical and social needs. Some of those include your primary and specialist care, in-home care, hospital visits, nutrition, transportation to their care facilities, and then transportation to any other medical appointments. They also manage their prescriptions and then also any type of behavioral health care needs that they might have. Right now, InnovAge provides care to over 6,000 seniors in 17 centers across about a half dozen of states under the PACE program, which stands for the Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. And then looking at the financial side of the business, the company estimates an average annual revenue opportunity of about $90,000 per participant. Now looking at some of the financial data for fiscal years ended June 30th, 2019 and 2020, the company had total revenues year-over-year growth rate of 22%, which was up to $567.2 million in 2020. And then net income grew from about $19.1 million up to $25.8 million, which was year-over-year growth rate of 35.1%. Adjusted EBITDA was $51.7 million in 2019 and grew up to $65.9 million in 2020. And that comes in at a year-over-year growth rate of about 27.6%. Now, if you wanted to look more recently, particularly in the last 6 months ended December 31st, 2020, keep in mind that the net income turned negative, where they had a loss of $40.2 million. And they claimed that this was mostly related to a non-recurring cost from a transaction between the company, an affiliate of their sponsor, Apex, and existing equity holders entering into a security purchase agreement. As of right now, InnovAge looks to be priced between $17 and $19. The company plans to start trading on Thursday, March the 4th, and they'll trade under the ticker INNV. As far as the second company, we're looking at OSCR Health, who is an online health insurance company founded in 2012. This company plans to raise $1 billion at a $7.7 billion market cap. What this company does is it provides individual, small group, and Medicare Advantage health insurance products and services to over 529,000 members through its online platform. And they're displaying a compound annual growth rate of 59% in members going back to 2017. As far as the average individual per member per month direct policy premium rate, that came into $515 for the month ended January 31st, 2021, which was a 9% increase from $473 from a year ago in January. As far as revenue, for the years ended December 31st, 2019 and 2020, after taking into account reinsurance premiums ceded, premiums earned declined from $468.9 million in 2019 down to $455 million in 2020. And then the net losses worsened from $261.2 million in 2019 down to $406.8 million in 2020. As of right now, OSCR looks to price their shares between $32 and $34. The company would then begin trading on Wednesday, March 3rd, and they would trade under the ticker OSCR. Alright, so that's what's coming out this week. Now let's talk a little about some of the bigger companies that we've been talking about for a while on the channel. Last week, Roblox had their Investor Day. And if you missed it, it's on YouTube. And I will link that in the description where you can find the video. And what you will see with the Investor Day is the presentation. It's a couple hours long, and then it's followed up with a Q&A. So you're talking about 3 hours worth of video if you want to watch it. I would tell you, I would only really recommend watching it for the real diehards of the company and really want to know. Most of it was PR, which is really what you expect in these things. But I did watch most of it, and other than zoning out here and there, it was definitely interesting to see where the company is looking to go a little bit and whatnot. It's always interesting to see what the company has to say, and 3 hours is pretty long to do, but just to give you a heads up, I will have that dedicated video. We've been talking about doing it since December, ever since all these delays started. And it's going to be coming out sooner than later because, as we know, the direct listing will be held on Wednesday, March 10th, as I shared in the video last week. So lots to come on Roblox. I know many of you guys are interested in it, so hang in there. There's going to be more coming, but that's the latest. So again, if you just wanted to catch out on the Investor Day, you can do it. I'll give you the link. If you don't want to do it, you're probably not missing a whole lot as far as what the company does. Most of it's probably going to be really important from it. We'll talk about in that video I'll have coming up for you guys. All right, so another one looking to come out next week. So we said, Roblox coming out on Wednesday. Another one is Coupang, and we've talked about Coupang before on the channel too. We talked about when they first released their S1 filing. At the time, we didn't know what the company was looking to raise and whatnot. Well, we have that information now because as of Monday, they set the terms for their IPO. Right now, the company plans to raise $3.4 billion by offering 120 million shares at a price range of between $27 and $30. And that's as of today. We know what these IPOs have been doing lately, so we'll have to see if that changes. But anyways, if that range sticks at the midpoint, the Coupang would command a fully diluted market value of about $51 billion. And then once it starts trading, it will trade under the ticker CPNG. And then another piece of new news on Coupang, it looks like, and again right now, looks like, we never say it's official because these things change, but right now it looks like the company will trade on the 11th of March, which will be next Thursday. So we'll have more about that, particularly on next week's IPO this week. All right, so next let's talk about the big news from last week. All right, well, except for that CCIV and Lucid deal finally being announced and resulting in the stock dropping like a rock. And so before we get to the big news, just some quick thoughts on that deal. I never got a chance. I would have liked to make a video last week, but really seemed to be the biggest issue was the result of the devil being in the details of the agreement. And obviously, there was some pressure overall in the market last week with the prices of stocks dropping. But that seemed to be a little separate of this because of, again, these details on the merger agreement announcement. So remember when we talked about in the last video that I did about Lucid really wanting to get the best deal, and especially with all the speculation out here over a month, seeing what the stock was doing, the CCIV stock was doing. Well, when the announcement finally came, the transaction included an approximately $2.1 billion cash contribution by CCIV, which we expected. But then there was also the $2.5 billion fully committed PIPE. And what the PIPE is, if you're not familiar with the term, it just stands for Private Investment in Public Equity. So a lot of times you hear about PIPEs. The PIPE, in this case, was priced at $15 per share, which was a 50% premium to CCIV's net asset value. And this resulted in an implied pro forma equity value of $24 billion. And going into the deal, there was a lot of expectation that the deal was going to be priced between $12 and $15 billion as far as the market cap. And so when you start looking at this and the number going up, that put pressure on the stock going down. So would have liked to talk more about it. You guys have probably all read about it in the last week. It just didn't have the time to get a video out last week. So that was definitely some big news. I just wanted to tie that loose end up for anybody that's been watching the channel and really hadn't followed that real closely. But anyways, let's get to the real big news of last week. And this is, we got the official drop of the S1 filing for Coinbase. And Coinbase was one of the 7 companies that I talked about that were likely to come out early in the year. And the last one we're waiting for is UiPath to publicly file. And I'll give you just a little update on UiPath, so just hang in there for a minute for that. But anyways, back to Coinbase. So Coinbase, and again, we've talked about them before, but they're basically a cryptocurrency exchange that started off with trading Bitcoin, back in 2012. They also are a digital currency wallet, so it's a place where you can help store your crypto. And from the filing, we get some statistics where that the platform enables approximately 43 million retail users in 7,000 institutions in over 100 countries. We know that it's a direct listing, and we've talked about that. I had a special video with that. The company has more than $1 billion in cash on its balance sheet, and so they're not looking to raise any new capital. In fact, they've already been doing a little fundraising in the private markets, and just to give you a little update on the valuation. So during 2020, roughly were about 2.1 million shares were sold in private transactions. And in those private transactions, the share price was being traded for just over or just under $29 per share. But then after announcing the direct listing, they had some more fundraising rounds. So again, they're not using the the new rules for the direct listings to raise capital, but they've raised some more, and the shares have recently traded as high as $373. And if it were to trade that, it would command a fully diluted market value of just around $100 billion. So it's insane. Now, in the filing, Coinbase didn't talk about any reference price, and they also didn't talk about a specific anticipated time where they expect the direct listing to happen. Remember, usually with these filings, you tend to get more than one. They amend them as they go on. So we'll look out for that, and as I get more information, I'll share that with you. And then just a couple other things from the filing. The company booked $1.3 billion in revenue for the 12 months ended December 31st, 2020. They do plan to list on the NASDAQ under the symbol COIN, so coin, that's pretty easy to remember. And this, unlike most of the other direct listings we've talked about, including Palantir and the Roblox that's going to be coming up, those were on the New York Stock Exchange. This won't be on NASDAQ. So lots to look forward to with Coinbase, and as we get closer, I'll talk a lot more about them. We've talked about them in the past. We'll talk about them some more, so hang in there. So, and then finally to the last of those 7 companies we expected to come out in early 2021. The last one we haven't got anything really recently from was UiPath. And UiPath is a company that uses artificial intelligence to build software, or what they like to call software robots, that lets companies automate back office, repetitive, and time-consuming tasks. As of their last fundraising of about a month ago, and this is newer than the last time I talked about them, they had them valued at about $35 billion. That's up from about $10 billion over the last summer. So we're already starting to see those valuation comes. So let me tell you a couple of things since we last talked about them. Number one is they are strongly looking at doing a direct listing. That's what some of the reports are. And we still don't have a time when this is going to happen, but last month, or about a month ago, there was another fundraising round, which had them valued at about $35 billion. And that's up from about $10 billion over last summer. And what we've seen is when the company does a fundraising round like they just did, just like Roblox did, just like Coinbase did, then it's not long after that direct listing tends to happen. So we could be getting some news really soon on them. Again, nothing has been publicly released yet, so we're waiting for that. But I think this is another sign it's coming sooner than later. So again, as I have more information on UiPath, I'll be sharing it with you guys. So, and keep in mind, this for a lot of people, they see this as being maybe the best one of the 7 that we talked about, and so this could end up being the most sought after one before it's all said and done. So we'll just have to see. But as you guys can tell, direct listings are all the rage right now, and we'll be talking more about them, so stay tuned. And again, when I say talk about them, we're going to be talking about them on the specific companies, and also going to be talking about them in general, just because I know there's a lot of, it's new. I mean, we've talked about traditional IPOs a lot, SPACs. Direct listings are a little bit different, and so I know some of you guys would like to have a better understanding of what they are, and some of those new rules that came out at the end of last year, so definitely be talking about that as well. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and while I did put it together a little quicker than normal, again, just time's been an issue recently, but anyways, I hope you like it, comment on it, share with your friends, and on any of your social media sites. It just helps grow the channel. And again, if you're new to the channel or just an occasional visitor, we'd love to have you join the community. It's totally free. You just got to press that little red subscribe button. And with that, I wish you guys a good week of trading. Thank you for watching, and until next time, have a great day.